My name is Paul Krotz. I'm Director of Communications for the PWHL. On the heels of the second trade in the PWHL season between the Boston Fleet and the New York Sirens, we've had media availability this afternoon with team general managers, and we'll continue to hear from the New York Sirens. To introduce our GM, I'll turn things over to Hannah Beckman.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you spending the time with us to hear some words from Pascal. So we have our general manager here, Pascal Daoust, who will make opening remarks, and then we'll open the floor to some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Paul. Hello, everyone. Happy to meet with you. And of course, it's to announce and explain the trade that happened between New York Sirens and Boston Fleet. As you now know, Jill Saunier is now a Boston Fleet, and the New York Sirens are like really excited and proud to welcome Taylor Gerard as a new member in our family. It's a trade that, sometimes you make trades against something. We both, Danielle Marmer and I, made a trade for something here. So the options were not, we don't have that many options, as you all know, because we're building something. So we need to take care and protect the how we do things. So no picks were available, no prospects are really available in a minor league. So we have to be open-minded and to be creative when we trade players, and which we found an agreement together to go with that trade, where I just hope for both teams to find a win in that trade. So I'm there to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Pascal. We'll start off with questions here. JJ Pavlik.
Hi, Pascal. I'm familiar with Taylor's game, but for the fans that are new to Taylor, can you just explain what you're expecting out of her and what you've seen that made this trade possible?
Yeah, well, we see stuff in her game, and speaking with her yesterday, I asked her what were we supposed to see in her game, because I just want to make sure that we see the same. And she described herself as a big body that can play the game physically. She also can skate at a pace where we all know that the league is going fast. So Taylor is definitely bringing physicality. And as a team, we want to play these games at the end of the season, meaning like playoff style, where physicality is there, speed is there. To pay the price is important, to be able to block shot. And we saw our success on PK, blocking shots, creating even like a jailbreak goal. So Taylor is definitely a new tool that we can add in our box.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up, Curtis.
Hi, thank you. It's Curtis Martin with the Hockey News, and thank you, Pascal, for taking the time. When we just talked to Danielle a couple minutes ago, she told us that you reached out initially about inquiring about Taylor. Can you just talk a little bit about what you saw initially from Taylor and her game that made you want to reach out to Danielle to start the talks for this trade?
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, it's not an easy window to be in to make trades. We have to follow some rules, but still, when you're looking at your puzzle, and not everybody can like be that piece in the corner. You have to accept a role, and you have to fit on a puzzle. And when you feel that there's maybe too many pieces that could fill the same role, that's when you have like discussion. And speaking with Danielle, it was like a casual chat, trying to see if she was looking to do something. Nothing major, but sometimes you just like change a piece here and there, and it change the chemistry. And Taylor, as I said, she's bringing something that is we don't find that many. A league where you can have a big body, able to skate, able to play a role that she will be proud to fill. So Taylor is everything that I just said: physicality, speed, block shot. She can be on special unit on PK, and she can also bring energy to our team when we have some. Our top six will have to rest sometimes, so we need players that we're sure and we can trust on the ice, and we feel that with Taylor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
Next up, Avery.
Hi, Pascal. Thank you so much for having us. Oh, I'm a little
Hey,
blurry today. Here we go. Awesome. Avery here with Put the Game On. Kind of going off some of the questions that have already been asked about Taylor's game. I just, wanted to know, what is the philosophy of like seamlessly integrating Taylor onto the Sirens team, and what are some of the areas in her game that'll be the most important for her to concentrate on going forward?
Yeah, six teams with different like game plan, different style. We all understand that to win a game, it's not about having a special game plan. It's like about playing the same. So for her, it's going to be some adjustment for sure. She's going to like come and have some times to adjust. We're just coming out of a bye week like shortly in 2 days. So we're going to give her the time to hear, understand, learn, and feel comfortable with it. And while she's going to go through that process, we know she is doing the basic, a hockey player that is willing to be a pro hockey player needs to do some details. So we're not asking her to change her game. We're asking her to be herself. We're asking her to be the player that she always been, and the person as well. Because as I told her, we don't know each other that much, but we know enough about her to feel very, very confident that she's going to fit in our value, in our core value, in our dressing room, which is already the first thing that we want to start to build on. So we're going to give her the time, but we are curious to see what she can bring and add to our lineup.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and then my second question for you is, trading a veteran player like Jill, does that come with the price of losing some of that leadership and mentorship for the younger players on the Sirens? And if so, how do you anticipate others on the team kind of stepping up and filling that deficit?
Yeah, well, there's always a price to pay. So there's benefits for both teams. I always feel that a good trade doesn't have to be a one side, only one team winning a trade. When you build something, when you want also to build relation with other GMs, you need to be transparent, because if you're like sending someone well, down the road, you're going to lose that relation of trust with colleague that you need to build your team this year, but in the future. So we're definitely sending Jill as, a good vet, a good leader, a good person. She's bringing energy. And she's going to bring that to Boston. No surprise there. And I mean, she was also very excited because, there's an opportunity for her to have a fresh start. Which we're fine with it. It's fair for her to have a fresh start, to have a good opportunity, and yeah, good for Boston. They're adding a good teammate.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. That's all I have.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thanks, Avery. Moving it on to Carissa.
Hey, Pascal, how you doing today?
Good. Yourself?
Good, thank you. Just wanted to ask you to elaborate a little bit more on some of the challenges of making trades and being a GM right now. I mean, you mentioned that you can't trade draft picks. There's not really prospects to pull from. And obviously we can't get too far into the weeds of salary cap constraints because we don't know what people are making, but we do know both these players run 2-year contracts. So can you talk a little bit about how, perhaps how difficult it is as a GM to make these trades happen?
Yeah, it's not the easiest playground to be on, but it's fun because challenge is also an opportunity to be even more creative that you think that you were. But when you build trades at the moment, you're right. We need to be open-minded, both GM, when we do this, because most of the trade that you see in sports, technically there is more than a swap of 2 players. There's like some picks that are being added, or some prospect, or some future consideration. When you do this, you always feel that, okay, both GM agree that it's not always like an equal value that you're like trading. So you had something here and there, and you have a strategy being behind a pick or a swap. Or now we need to just understand that we are year 2, season 2. We're building something for years, decades, and century. And we need to understand that at this moment, we need to protect the league first, while we try to build 6 great teams. But we need to protect the league with the value of the pick, not knowing what is coming to us in a couple of months. So this is a challenge, you're right. But I mean, as you can see so far, we found ways. But hopefully, we're gonna have like a bigger playground in the in the next seasons, I would say.
Gotcha. And just to follow up on Jill, you mentioned that you know, really wanted to find her a place where she could have a fresh start, and then also mentioned obviously you don't have very many spots open in your top six right now. Was that kind of the goal for you going into this trade? Is to find a place where maybe there could be more opportunity for her higher up in the lineup?
Yeah, what I like to say, as I said, with all the restriction we have for trades, when you look for a partner, you need to find a partner to dance with, and then you need to agree on the song. So, which we found a way, Danielle and I, to dance on the same song. But yeah, it's, you know, when you're trying to move a piece here and there, you're not moving for like in 5 years from now. You know, it's not prospect that you can sign for 5, 6, 7 years. You're moving for something that could help immediately. So it's like for now, and then we'll know what's gonna happen at the end of the season. So that's also the angle we need to cover when we discuss on trade.
Merci. Bonne journée.
Merci.
Thank you, Carissa. Moving on to C.
Oops. Hi, thank you. C. Benoit from the Hockey News. Pascal, I wondered if we could just go off to the side a little bit, if you have any words about this weekend's game in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena and what that means for the team to be in an event like that.
Well, actually, it's going to be our very first. So hopefully, it's going to be like very exciting for the players, even for the staff to be part of it, because the vibe is different, the distractions are there, and then it's on us. It's a challenge. It's an opportunity to see how we can cope and how we can control that noise, that vibe. While you're enjoying it, you still have a job to do. You're competing. You're there for the 3 points. You're there to build and to learn from. So this is a great stage to be on. It's a huge privilege, and look forward to be there already on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving it back to Curtis.
I just wanted to go off of another question I heard. I know you're talking about how you're making trades for the now, but with a player like Taylor who still has a lot of years left in her career, how do you balance acquiring players that you know will help you now, but also players that you know that you can develop their game moving forward? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, we just had a trade, not a trade, but a draft a couple of months ago. And it's also like young players joining a league where the level of competition is like just getting bigger and higher and higher. So all these players are fighting to not necessarily prove themselves, but prove all the GMs and coaches what they can bring, what they can do. And you're right, Taylor is a young player that can and will play in the league for many years. And it's an opportunity for her to have also a fresh start with us and to show us what she can do, because all these players, we're going to have another draft at the end of the year, and all the GMs and the scouts, we're going to try to see which piece of puzzle we need to move and to sign and to extend and to develop. So we have 20 games left before the playoff to prove fans, staff, what they can bring. So yeah, I think that this is probably the game plan for many players, including Taylor.
And then just one more follow-up. I know that we don't know the dollars for what players are making in this league at this point, but can you talk about how much, at least with your conversations, without getting into detail with the other GMs, that, you know, the exchanging of mutual years or mutual dollars has affected deals, and how much that comes into play when you're trying to, as you say, find a dance partner on the dance floor and dance to the same song?
Yeah, I'm happy that you like the dance image. Well, you're right. You know, it's also something that we need to cover when we make trades. In that particular case, we were like on the same dance floor because both GLM Taylor signed a 2 years contract last season, so they were the same under the same package, if I may say, same kind of package. So there was no challenge there, but it could have been, and it would have been if one of us, Marmer and myself, we wouldn't agree on one of the two players. So yeah, it was like the perfect connection between dancers and the song here.
Thank you so much, Pascal.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Curtis. Going to JJ.
Hi, Pascal. Taylor, obviously, she was Rookie of the Year, her first pro year with the Connecticut Whale. You know her head coach pretty well. He was your assistant last year. Two-part question. One, how do you see Taylor helping a player like Sarah, who's now up for Rookie of the Year as well, going through that process? And also, did Colton give you any advice on Taylor or any insight to her game?
No, to be honest, well, Colton, we haven't had any discussion. Last year we had about her, and then to be honest, we have to go one season at a time and 1 month at a time and one game at a time because the level of competition is so high. There's a lot of player, and we can see already in the league where we all have players that used to have a role, points, mission in their team, and suddenly in that PW league where the best in the world are competing every night, your role change, your time on ice change, the partner that you're playing with the line mate are changing, and the specific mission are changing. So you need to be a player in that league. I would say it's like the NHL. Many players can score 50 goals in the AHL, but they will never play in the NHL because once they're in the NHL, they will need to be specifically on the top 6. Players in the AHL are joining the NHL because they can fit and fill a role at like different moment on different lines. So Taylor, we feel that she has in her toolbox something to offer more than to be a specific role player. So that's what we're betting on, and we're going to see in the coming games and in weeks.
Thank you.
Thanks, JJ.
Thanks, everyone. Is there any final questions here before we wrap it up? Avery?
I'm not blurry now, thank God. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I think, to the audience or the viewers that might not know as much about Taylor or even the New York Sirens, some people new to women's hockey or just hockey in general, what are some of the things that you might speak to them about Taylor and what her part is going to be on the New York Sirens, or what you anticipate her bringing to the table, or some things that might excite you about her, or about the toolbox of resources that she might, offer for the team. What are some things that you might say to those viewers that might be a little bit more newer to the league?
Yeah, well, what I like about a hockey player is not necessarily only the one who is under the spotlight scoring goals.
Mm-hmm.
Details that happen on the ice that can cheer a bench, that can get the fan excited. To me, as simple as blocking shot is something that brings energy, that brings a special vibe of warrior, and we need warrior spirit. We need to have that killer instinct because from the very beginning of the season, we had some opportunity to lead the game, and then for some reason we're giving hope to the other team to come back. And details like this, that extra blocking shot, that hit, we're authorized to have physicality. So we need these players that will bring details that maybe at the end of the game, it's not enough to be one of the 3 stars. But from a GM eyes or coach's eyes, and hopefully from fans, you start to appreciate the player more and more because of these details. So I definitely see that as an opportunity for a player like Taylor, and maybe also to inspire some of her teammates that will do these extra step and to pay that price and to become warriors altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Avery. Is there any final questions here for everyone?
Great. Seeing no further questions, we appreciate everybody's time and coverage this afternoon and throughout the season. We look forward to seeing the New York Sirens return to the ice on Saturday afternoon in the second annual Battle on Bay Street at Toronto's Scotiabank Arena, where they'll take on the Scepters at 2 p.m. If anybody has any follow-up questions, please reach out to the PWHL, either via press at pwhl.com or for New York inquiries, Hannah Beckman is your source. Thanks, everybody. This will conclude today's call, and certainly thanks to Pascal for his time.
Thank you, everybody. Take
Thank you,
care.
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the time.
Bye-bye.